Good morning. Oh, what's up, D-Trov? How you doing? Yeah, this is that was quite the rejection up there. I was taking this pullback at the VWAP. Well, looked like it was a VWAP, and this coming down for these lows right now was just a little surprising because it looked like we launched off it from here. So let's see if we can gain this territory back. D-Trov, yeah, I I actually had a good afternoon yesterday after a little bit of a blow up, but I took a nap yesterday, came back to the charts, and ended up taking some good trades. So yeah, kind of corrected my Monday because when I got off, I was pretty upset, just starting off the week poorly, but was able to make up for it yesterday, and then last night did some trading as well. We did not sweep these highs yet, and so hoping we can get up there. I was thinking this low is going to hold after this attempt here. Sellers, buyers, rejection at the value area low. So that was kind of my thought here. Let's see though. Man, still got some selling happening here. Man, still not feeling super comfortable yet. I was thinking after that last push we had, we'd be okay, but still some selling happening. Might have to stop out of this one. Yo, good morning. How you doing, Gavin? Selling is relentless. Looks like we're going for that low. Might have to stop out of this. Let's see. If we can push up from here, I'll hold on to it. But if we keep going lower, I'm going to stop out around 24,700. We've been down here for, well, basically since, the open. We shot up, came back down. So hopefully we can launch back up and at least retest these highs here. But selling's kind of relentless right now. Man, it's not not letting it flip right now, unfortunately. I'm gonna de-risk on this one at least. This other one. All right, well, let's see. We're going. Looks like we're going for lower prices right now, at least. Hell of a rejection up here. I got caught up in. It's okay. I'm gonna watch here for a second. Gavin, you're testing out the opening range breakout. Typically, the opening range is 15 minutes. Or opening range, let me see. Actually, standard might be 30 minutes. Yeah, it could be 15 or 30. Man, that really came against me. See what we're shooting for. Maybe these equal lows here. Looking a little tricky. Man, is he going for a full-on reversal here, or are we just pulling back? That's the question. Looks like these lows are getting taken. Let me pull up the higher time frame and see what other kind of lower targets we have. This was a hell of a down move right here. We got this daily gap right underneath us. So we could have a lot of watching price action here to see how we're reacting, see if we have any floors down here, passive sellers. But I don't know if I want to anticipate a bounce on this. Just yet. Need to be analyzing. But we could absolutely melt through this level as well. Here, I'm going to put it on the daily. Could be going for this. This looks like let me just switch back to the hourly. So we've bounced multiple times from this area. If we start melting through this, I would probably flip and start thinking real short. Yeah, looking like selling isn't going to give up anytime soon. Big seller stepping in here. The only thing I might be watching for is a revisit up into this area here for a potential short. Yeah. taking a look at the footprint chart to see if we got anything that happened down here at 24,600 meaningful. Not really. Except for the fact that we had a big order that rejected. So we made it outside of the of this value area low. Came all the way back up here, point of control, back outside the value area low, pull back, moving down lower. Everything right now from an order flow standpoint is bearish. Unfortunately, right now we're pretty balanced in here. Makes it difficult to hop in. 24,258. $24,557, $24,507. Let's see, 24,258. Let me check that out on the higher time frame. $24,258 down here. I mean, we do have this gap. I don't know if I would be specific about 25,258. Let me see. What do you got here? I'd probably be watching this low right here, 24,421. Hang on one second. 4-hour time frame. Let's see, you got 24,258, 24,258. I think midpoint of this gap still probably makes sense here as a first target, potentially. Let's see, what are we doing right now? This is kind of the area I'd be watching first, and then down here probably. Might be interested if we get up to 24,614. I don't know. We might just keep moving, but might be interested around here for short. Probably going to start small and maybe give it a little bit of room to start scaling in. So maybe if we get back up to this big sell order right here, I'll start scaling in. Unfortunately, it looks like it's not really taking its time to come back up here to revisit, but a reprice between this area, I think, would be better than nothing. I'll put it that way. All this looks balanced. Come down here, we have a gap here. Large order in this gap, so 24,600 I think could be a good place. Might have to be patient and wait for it to come back up there. Oh, you got wicked out on this, huh? That's a bummer. Well, I'm trying to be patient and wait for it to come back up. You might get a re-entry. You can only trade mini? Why is that? This looks whack. What's going on here? Huh. Oh man. I'm gonna have to be patient for this pullback, unfortunately. Man, bummer. You know, my first initial move trying to catch this coming up and bouncing down here really kind of threw off being able to catch this move early. If I thought there might be a bounce, where would I think the bounce is most prominent to be? Or do you think it's just going to retrace back then up? Yeah, right now, unfortunately, it's really tough to call if it's going to bounce. I wouldn't rely on a bounce. If a bounce happens, then I think you got to be like open to trying to identify it to get on the right side of the move. But right now, it doesn't look like a high probability trade to try and anticipate a bounce. I think a better trade is to wait for a retrace up into this area and then take it short. D-Tribe, you got to sell on 24,522. Okay, the open of this candle. This thing is just melting without us, unfortunately. The only like, obviously we came up here, we came back down, we started really selling hard. I wasn't thinking about a sell yet. Obviously, I was in that trying to take that bounce. The only other good move, I think, well, actually, I think there are two good moves. One right here, that retrace. If you sold that, and then this retracement right here would have been these two basically the top of these candles would have been good entries, I think. For me, um, this is tough because I was holding this one for a while. Like to hear. Trying to see what we do here with this candle. Um, Bounce to retrace. Could get that retracement to the candle open right here. D-Trob. We've been doing shallow pullbacks with the exception of this one. Dude, you might get a reduction down to $12. Is it below 100K today? Oh, did you just get tapped in there? I'm a little worried we're going to do a little bit of a deeper pullback. I'm going to see if I can wait for this guy up here. 91K, yeah. They're actually, I don't know if you guys follow Patrick Whelan. He's kind of a little bit of a wild card, but he's partnering up with a prop firm that's focusing on crypto. This level right here might be a good level as well. If we tap into this gap, I'll probably just start scaling in small size. We do have some order flow looking a little bit bullish, nothing crazy though. A little bit of big orders. I'm gonna watch the footprint chart and see if I can find something good. We got sellers stepping in right here too. A little bit top heavy. I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, start small, and we'll give it quite a bit of room up here to add to it. When I say top heavy, I'm looking at I'm looking at the Delta footprint chart, and I'm starting to see some absorption on the top end, meaning we have buyers that are trying to buy aggressively at the top of this candle, but I can see it getting stacked up here, so it means you have passive sellers up here that are holding price down. It doesn't mean that it's going to be like a concrete ceiling up here. It just means you have, like I'm seeing essentially some strong passive sellers sitting up here with limit orders that are absorbing the buy orders. So when a candle starts getting just kind of my definition of top heavy, it just is telling me that there are interested passive sellers in these areas, and it could lead to creating a ceiling that can't be blasted through, which could lead to a reversal. So like this big buy order right here, like you start to see hard buys, like aggressive buys. And when these buy orders come in, you want to be watching, how does price respond to these buy orders? Does it get rejected or accepted? And if it's rejected, like when price is going against these buy orders, the ideal scenario, if you're looking for short, is not only is price kind of getting away from these buy orders, but on the footprint chart, you can see, and let me switch to it real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. So here on the footprint chart, you see how the point of control, which is this light blue line right here, this is where in this candlestick, the most transactions occurred on the aggressive side. So it means that not only are transactions happening here, but they're aggressive, meaning that if you're a buyer, they're hitting the offer. If you're a seller, they're hitting the bid. So on the right side, this indicates the offer, meaning that it's like either a market order or it's above the current price. It means that people are aggressively trying to buy, whether they're stopping out or they are hitting a market order to try and push price up, or hitting an offer order on the buy side to try and push price up. And when you see price get stuck at areas like this or this, you see a lot of orders that get built up here. That means that you have a passive seller here that's absorbing all these orders. Otherwise, if you had a weak passive seller up here, this 50 right there that you see would have driven price up, and you would see it scattered across, let's say, 10 points or 14 points or something like that. So the fact that you get these these orders building up at the top of the candle, that's when I'm like, it's looking like it could be a little top heavy. It just means that we've got a passive sellers up here that could prevent price from going up higher. So now you see the point of control actually moved to down here. So this could be a floor. Same thing, but the opposite end. And these don't look hugely significant, but probably just worth noting. And then, for explaining it, we've got here, you can see strong buy orders, and you have a strong sell order here that was essentially held. So that means you got strong buyers in this area, and you have a passive buyer here that could have prevented it from going down. So that's usually what you want to see if you're looking at a spot to get a reversal or a reaction out of. Ideal scenario is you got passive buyers and aggressive buyers. So somebody holding price, preventing it from going down, and then people pushing price away from it. Could be the same people. So we're all the way back up here. And we want to see, okay, what's going on? Do aggressive buyers step in here and pop this level? This level is probably not very strong, so I think it could happen with relative ease. And if we do pop this level, what we want to see is, okay, so especially since we're in short, do we have anything that's like up here that happens in order flow that indicates we're going to continue going down and this is not a reversal? If, like, let's say in the next candle, for instance, we see this floor, let's just, for the sake of simplicity, let's continue to call this a floor and this a ceiling at the top. If we continue to see a floor being raised, like right here, you can see this is it's got a lot of volume. It's falling out of here, so not going to be a great example, but you see the bars growing on the left side right here. So that looks to be a bit of a floor, that we had a passive buyer there where this bar kept growing. It's looking like selling is pretty strong. So what I'm going to be watching for is once we get down to this floor that was established right here, is this going to continue to be a strong area where buyers are present and do not let price pass this point? So let's see what happens when it gets down to this area right here, 24,477. Does it keep getting rejected away from it? Do we have strong buyers that are pushing price away? What is this clown music? Strong buyers that are pushing away from it as well as passive buyers. And if you're not fully grasping what a passive buyer is, it's like let me go ahead. If I put a buy limit order here, I'm a passive buyer here. I'm waiting for price to get here. If I'm an aggressive buyer, I'll hit the buy market order. And so if we got passive buyers sitting here with, let's say I put 100,000 contracts down here as a limit buy, that would be a large passive buyer sitting there, so that as people sell into that level, price isn't moving because I got a limit order there, and I will capture all of the selling that goes into that level, and price won't move. Now, if I only have two contracts down here as a passive buyer, that's not going to do anything, and price will like melt right through it. If you have buyers that are willing to, or if you have sellers that are willing to aggressively sell, once those two buy limit orders, and let's say I'm the only buyer on the book, that'll get taken out very quickly, and it'll move to the next buyers at lower prices. Does that make sense? Let me know if anybody needs clarification on that, because obviously I talk about this quite a bit. So you see here, down here we got, oh, nice, man. We got passive buyers that gathered right here, but obviously price is below it right now. So right now, more than anything, because of where we're coming from, what we've been doing, what I'm looking for is bearish order flow. So I want to see aggressive selling, which is going to happen on this left side. And when you see it start to get stacked up, I want to see these levels continue to get pushed. Now, the only thing we don't have right now is we don't have a good ceiling, in my opinion. We kind of have these weak ceilings up here that could easily be broken. So we might be, we could just continue with aggressive selling and push through this area. But it's also, for me, at least on the table, that we might be consolidating. Right here, you can see we have aggressive selling that happened. We also have aggressive buying that happened, which usually can lead to, if it's strong enough, can lead to it being an inflection point. So not only let's say you have people that are aggressively selling into this area, but you also have people that are aggressively buying in that area, which could cause price to repel off of it. Because you can see right here, it's a strong level that passive buyers are at, and you have aggressive buyers, and you have aggressive sellers, which kind of creates a cocktail for accelerated movement away from that area. Because think about it, if you're an aggressive seller down here and price doesn't continue to move, your position is in trouble, which means you're likely to start stopping out as price goes higher. Well, you also have people that are passively buying right here. So they are, especially on a larger size, they're going to be more likely to defend this area. In addition to aggressive selling, passive buying, you also have aggressive buyers out of that area. So you have three things, three reasons that price might go up from there. So that being said, I didn't look at I didn't see the specifics of that level, like how large it was. Let me pull it up, but yeah, I mean, pretty significant right here. So that being the case, and then you have scattered aggressive buying happening. That being the case, you might expect this area to provide a launch off point. This looks like a stronger floor than what we've seen so far. So that being said, now I'm thinking this short position could be at risk until we hit something up top, right? Like if we hit a huge seller up in this area, this position could be good. But based on this happening, if I was really quick with it and I wasn't kind of chatting, I might take my position off down here because it's starting to look like, okay, well, we're not done with higher prices. This is a floor, whether it be temporary or permanent. but this looks like it could be a strong floor to provide a launch off point for price to move higher. And so that being said, if I'm already in a position, I might see that as a sign to get out and at least and wait till something else happens, like we start seeing a ceiling form at a key level. So right now we're in this gap. We got the value area low. I might consider just scaling into this since we're in my gap. This is a key level I was watching. We got hard sellers right here that you might anticipate are going to defend this position, defend this level. Now, remember, we also have the level down here that was providing a launch off point for this long. So right now, we might consider that this could be consolidating. We got strong sellers, strong buyers. We kind of got an area right now that we could be bouncing between. 24,600 was kind of that level that lined up with these sellers that I wanted to be watching for a pullback to continue short. Now what we want to see is right at this level, not a hard push up into this level to retest these higher prices. It's looking right now like it could pop a little bit. And we want to see, are sellers still here? Or should we expect a full-on reversal with this thing? Not seeing anything over here on the footprint chart that's making me super confident. We've got some selling happening. I just didn't see anything in this area up top that looked like, okay, this looks like a strong area that's going to hold. I saw aggressive selling happening, but I didn't see a ceiling forming up here. So we got buyers, stepping in. We had a little bit of aggressive selling coming down, but again, I don't trust this top area yet. We had kind of one line of defense, and that was offense or aggressive selling that happening up here. We didn't really have the passive sellers showing up here. So it makes me a little bit weary that this could come back up and close through this gap up here. Kind of the only thing that is keeping me in this trade right now is that this was very, very aggressive selling and expected this to continue. But, I mean, as all you guys know, you know that we could flip on a dime and do a V-shape reversal here. This isn't quite a V-shape, but, we're consolidating right here, and we could be building up to start moving long. This is a weak high, in my opinion, so this could punch through it. And then, we could be looking at a bounce from this area down here. D-Trav is trying to take a buy on 24,522 down here. $24,590, looking like a little bit, a passive seller showed up there, but again, like this high right here was looking a little weak to me. So right now, considering that we might be starting a consolidation, this still might be, kind of a bear flag type of situation, but certainly doesn't inspire the level of confidence that we had on the way down for me. Again, like not seeing a whole lot up top here, unfortunately. We got some scattered aggressive buy orders, which means we got scattered passive sellers, not a lot of strength to the short side, cause up here. Change this stupid shit. Gavin, yeah, man. I mean, if you want to, I would just back test whatever you're looking for. Like, if you're looking to take double bottoms as reversals, back test it. I think in my experience, double bottoms can be paired with things like order flow, and you can get much better results. Because if you're able to see what's actually going on down here where it's double bottoming, with Confluence, it'll make it a lot more successful. With a double bottom, to me, a double bottom really doesn't mean much without context. Nice, D-Trav. You're on a gold sell, huh? Let me check that out. Copy that. If I was looking at this, my concern with this gold sell, it would be just that we've got balanced price going down. Makes it tough to hop in and find a level to hop in. And you got this fair value gap. Looks like to be kind of the midpoint of this move. Could be bouncing off this to move up, but I hope this works out for you. You're looking to take this down, maybe to VWAP or something here. That's what I'd be worried about, is that we're kind of digging into this gap, kind of rounding out, and hopefully this isn't going back up. $24,570 still looking to be the only spot that I can see on here that has kind of passive sellers. But if we are consolidating here, I can probably get an exit down here. If this is just doing a full-on reversal, then I'm gonna have to exit probably above these highs. The way price is kind of jumping up after dipping, in combination with everything else I've been talking about, just tells me that order flow is not on our side yet. If we can start to get some stair stepping down on some ceilings, I'll feel much better about this, meaning that start to see some participants on the short side, not just people trying to push price up, but actually people stepping in to keep price from going up and push price down. I'm just not seeing a lot of that yet. So, if you're being conservative, if you're not seeing that, you probably want to exit when you get a good price down here because you can see prices kind of going back and forth quite a bit, stronger on the buy side than it is on the sell side. So if you're in these kinds of positions, I would say when you're looking at order flow and you don't see what you want to see to stay in the trade, I think it's valid just to get out and reassess. So we might be pushing up beyond these highs right now, is what I'm seeing, because we really just don't have a lot of defense going on. So I might just exit this move, if I get a good opportunity, and then reassess. Because really, what this trade was supposed to be was a pullback and then, a continuation, not a consolidation. To then go short, because if you're looking at a consolidation to then go short, you have plenty of time in between where price hits the low of the consolidation to analyze price, see what you want to see in price, and then take it. If you want to take it short, you really have kind of all these candles to look at and say, does this look like a continuation short after this consolidation? And if it doesn't, you just stay out. Whereas if you're taking a pullback, there's always a chance that that pullback can lead to either a reversal or instantly kind of coming down. And when you have it instantly coming back down for the continuation, when you have the expectation that that's the pullback trade for a continuation, it's very different from having to hold through all this kind of BS that's not really showing you too much. That being said, I'll probably just start de-risking. Finally, starting to look a little bearish here. We got three red candles in a row. We got some aggressive selling happening. All right. The best indicator for order flow on TradingView. So actually, Gavin looks like Gavin is doing a 30-day free trial. There's some sort of order flow package that TradingView has. I wasn't even aware of that, so I'm gonna have to check it out today. Um, so yeah, I would do that. Type in TradingView order flow, and apparently it's a subscription package. I think it's like $700 a year. Um, but Gavin said there's a 30-day free trial. So 24.4, 4490. I don't know if you guys can see this right here, but this looks to be a passive seller right here. Let's see if we can, get some defense going on the sell side. Premiums are expensive as fuck. You trying to hit some puts? Copy that. Copy that. T drop, and then yeah. So what do you do in that situation, Adam? Yeah, looks like gold came down pretty nicely for you. So it looks like this candle got a little bit bottom heavy, spread out around, for around 10 points. We had some passive buying happening right around, this area right here. So I'm glad I got out of most of this position. Now I'm just kind of chilling, just maybe not anticipating after this kind of third candle got rejected down here. Not anticipating much for the time being. If we can break out of this range and start moving down, that would be great. Otherwise, might anticipate that this is going to be moving back and forth for a little bit. Yeah, copy that, Adam. 'All right. This area here was, one area we were watching for it to be a potential ceiling. You had aggressive selling out of that area. Now we're revisiting these lows here. I want to see, do we get caught snagged like in this area? 24,500, you can see right here. Had a lot of buying happening right here. I'm gonna try and reduce the amount of I like to call this stuff out so you guys know what I'm looking at. But I don't want to be calling out things that are insignificant. That last one I called out looked like this looks fairly significant. But it's all within context. So if I'm calling this level out, you got to understand that, like, if we start moving under that level, then it's just basically, think about it as support and resistance. When you first started learning technical analysis, think about support turning into resistance, resistance turning into support based on where you are in price, if you're above it or below it. So being below that level, 45.5, 24,500, where we had a lot of buy orders there, that is turning into resistance up here. But now if we get above this and start moving aggressively above it, we would consider that support. And we're kind of right in the middle of the range here. If you recall, what I was talking about is getting the ceiling to stair step down. This would be an example of a lower ceiling as we're watching price descend, and that's the kind of stuff you want to see if you're looking for shorts. You want to see that point of control start moving down in price and holding price lower. And you can see that happen right here at 24,500. You see these aggressive buy orders coming through, and now as a result of these passive sellers being here, we are now below 24,500. So this 24,500 level is going to be a key level for short-term price action reading. For me, I'm going to be watching this level. Do we get above this level? And if we get above this level, does it aggressively start launching off that point? And so if we start doing that, I might consider just closing this trade. So here we're tapping into, you know, the high of this candle again, and let's just kind of observe what happens here. If when we come up to 24,500, if we continue to see aggressive selling out of that to the downside, everything looks good. But if it starts launching from this point to the long side, we might just consider taking this trade off and then reassessing. Here we go, candle flipping, coming back down. Big passive seller here, 24,491. So if price remains below this, and you know, wicking above it is okay, but what I mean is kind of if we get a candle closure above this level and then aggressive move out of it, then I'm going to start getting concerned. But we're staying below this now, and you can see here is 24,500. Here is 24,491. So we're starting to get, you know, a stair-stepping down of passive sellers that can potentially keep price below these areas. So that's kind of what you want to see, and that's what's going on behind the scenes when you're looking at these red candles that are, you know, we got red candle here, you know, that are continuing to move down. This is what it looks like kind of behind the scenes when you're seeing this downward trend. You're like, that's what I want to see, is I want to see that we have these strong areas continue to get lower. And ideally, at the top, like if I'm looking at the top end over here, you would see, and remember how I was saying these highs look weak to me? I didn't see a like ceiling of passive sellers being formed at the top here. That's the only thing that this is missing. Here, at least we kind of have this point right here that's being held. So now at least we have a little bit of, you know, a pivot point for context in this trade, where if it starts moving aggressively above here, I might even say like, okay, well, why don't I just put a stop above that area, give it just a little bit of breathing room, probably, you know, just a little bit above the top of that candle. Let's go with that, so that if we do end up wicking above that, it won't stop it. But if we start seeing momentum out of it, then we'll just get out of this trade. I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. Okay, so I got stopped out of that. That's okay. Um, let's take a look and see what's going on. So here, if I was analyzing price, I would look at this and say this looks like we could be getting bottom heavy, and this could be a potential area we reverse out. And then you can see we had some aggressive buys out of the area. Might be short lived, but at the very least, this would be a potential warning that we're not ready to move lower yet. And so think about it this way. So let's say that you are a, institutional investor, your big boy hedge fund. Let's say that you are, and you have the ability to move the market. Let's say the let's say that we are going to continue going down, but you haven't packed all of your bags, meaning that you haven't loaded up for the short yet. Well, then what you would want to do is you want to be sitting up here as a passive seller, put limit orders up here at the top of this, or potentially higher up here, and um, and then put in a floor. So then not only do you have the ability to make money from down here going up, but then you have a higher amount of sell orders up here that you're packing so that you can move down. Does that make sense? Like essentially what it is we're not ready for this move to go down because we're not going to make enough profit off of it. We don't have our bags packed. We don't have enough contracts in this move yet. So I want to essentially load up here for the short. That's one possible scenario. If price isn't ready to move down yet. Circus music, you miss it? Let me see if we can find some. Oh, you want me to turn the mic up? Okay, cool. Testing. Let's see. How's that? Is that better? What about this? That's probably better, huh? Okay, cool. I'll keep it right there. Um, so right here, you can see 24,525. You see this cluster of buy orders, and then we have our point of control at the top of this candle. This candle, I would probably consider, getting a little top heavy. So again, go and this. I'm not saying this is the scenario, but if the scenario was that it wasn't ready to move lower yet, so it was going to hold price here, push price up, and push it into these levels right here. For instance, you could have, people sitting up here with their sell limit orders up here trying to take this short, so that as people potentially get out of their short positions and start buying aggressively at this area, they're absorbing it and they're essentially packing their bags. And if enough bags are packed, maybe then it's time to get aggressive and start pushing price down. That's kind of the way that I'm looking at it. I'm looking to see, are there any of these scenarios that I'm able to take advantage of if I'm looking at order flow? And then trying to define, like, what does that look like as we're looking at the footprint chart, and does it align with the sort of narrative that we got going on right now, which right now, we have bearish price action. We've hit this consolidation area. So what do you want to see in this consolidation area that makes you confident enough to be able to take a trade to make money on it? And does it show up in, on the chart with areas? And then when price hits these areas, are you able to see something over here that can justify a position? And that's kind of how I'm looking at order flow, is like, okay, once we hit some of these areas, like we already established 24,500 was going to be a potential key area. 24 around 24,490 is a potential key area. This looks like where are we, 25-ish down here looks like a potential key area. And all these are key areas that, like, if I was drawing lines here, these would all be areas that I'm essentially looking for. Like, we have passive sellers at these areas. So as we approach these prices from down here, I'm looking for these prices to be defended. Defended meaning that, like, sellers start to get aggressive as we approach these levels. And then obviously we have a value area low here. So we did do a pullback here, and I got stopped out of my position, so I'm probably just chilling here for a second. But this pullback here, when we're looking bearish and we have order flow kind of on our side, prices being defended up here, and aggressive sellers pushing lower, all point to, and when you're in a consolidation, sorry, let me finish that thought, all point to breaking to the downside. And when you're in a consolidation, most traders, not most traders, but I would say, like, the majority of traders who are not trying to take consolidation trades or range scalps are looking for any hints they can get, like, whatsoever, that will give them a directional bias out of this consolidation. So when we're looking at, like, order flow in that manner, it's essentially, let's try and gather some evidence that can give us an edge within this consolidation, so we're not just getting chopped up trying to guess the direction. We want to see evidence-based directional bias. And right now, we have, in my opinion, I think we're seeing order flow push down. We obviously haven't seen a break of these lows yet, but that's what I would be leaning toward. We see these kind of ceilings being put in. We see aggressive selling happening. We see passive selling happening. So that's kind of the edge we're looking for as we're moving through this consolidation. Is there anything we're seeing that's saying, hey, like, there's some really aggressive buyers? And right now you can see right here, this was a floor that was put in, right? Like, we had hard selling that went into this. And at one level, all of that was absorbed. It didn't get spread out through all these. The aggressive selling got hit by this passive buyer right here. And you can see right now the aggressive selling is overtaking that passive buyer. So it looks like we're about to break out, potentially. So everything within context, like, when you put in one of those floors or you put in a ceiling, it's not like that can't be broken with enough selling or enough buying. I think of it like, there's, you got minnows. Like, we're the minnows. Then you got, the bigger, larger fish. Think about, like, tuna. And then you got sharks, and then you got whales. And at any moment, when a like a shark or a tuna or something like that has an agenda and they're putting in these orders and you're seeing those orders, that could be them over here or over here. And then all of a sudden, a whale comes in and just swallows them up. A whale wouldn't be eating a shark, but hopefully you get the picture that a whale can come in and completely just obliterate this passive buyer right here. This passive buyer could have been trying to hold price up. Maybe it wasn't ready for it to go, or maybe they're trying to take a bounce trade right here. And you got to put yourself in other people's position, because if that's you over here trying to take a bounce trade and you got a lot on the line, what's going to happen when price starts breaking through your area and melting it like a hot knife through butter? Well, you're going to add to the selling. You know, you're trying to buy it here and price punches through you. You got a stop loss being triggered. You're immediately selling, and you're adding fuel to the fire. And in this case, it's a fire that's moving down. Yeah, dude. And us trading prop firms, that's right. So you see, like, as we broke this low, we have continued selling. We might retest up here. But, you know, we were seeing all this build up, right? All of that order flow. And I took a, you know, short position up here, a smaller position, made some money on it. I took another position on another account, short on this, a larger position. It worked out. So I'm kind of just chilling right now. Um, you know, I'm kind of, kind of more interested right now in really kind of analyzing what's going on to see if there's a bigger move to be had. But this could just dump out of here, and that's okay. But you know, doing this kind of analyzation, you know, throughout these consolidation areas, I think is really important, because you're always looking for an edge, and it can be confusing in here. So whether it's order flow or just price action, or you have these fair value gaps highlighted, you want to have some sort of system that keeps you out of this mess, if at all possible, until you get some sort of good bias. And initially, you know, when I took this short, um, I was watching this area, right? So I was scaling in as we approached this area. And then we saw some rejection. I wasn't completely sold, because these looked like weak highs to me. But as I held on to the position, you get more and more evidence that, okay, this is looking decent. This is looking good. This is looking better. And then I started scaling out as we bounced off of this area. But initially, when I took this trade, it was not supposed to be a consolidation trade. It was supposed to be a pullback trade. And then it turned into a consolidation trade. And a lot of times when that happens, if you're in a trade that's supposed to happen quickly and it doesn't happen quickly, in my opinion, it can be good and healthy to get out of those positions, um, unless it starts working out favorably very quickly. But it's just another thing to add to trading, where if things are happening that are surprises and unexpected, it can add to the, you know, your uncertainty, and then potentially, you know, start building up an accumulation of risk factors for, you know, your trading decisions. So I'm a fan of having kind of a shot clock on your trades, and if they don't work out in the time that you want them to work out, uh, and you have that sort of qualification on the trade you're taking, I think it's okay to get out and then re-enter with more confirmation. Yo, what's up, Max? Yeah, exactly. T-Drop, moving from profit loss, it's a bit of a mental drain on you. Yeah, I did. I took a pretty big loss after the open, trying to take essentially a pullback. I thought that we made a pretty strong move up right at the open, and we pulled back immediately. I thought we were pulling back so that we could push higher. So I took that long, ended up stopping out, probably right around here, 24. Yeah. I was wanting to stop out below 24,700. So then at that point, we started cascading down. It was a little late for me to jump in, considering this trade I was trying to take. I thought we were going to sweep these highs here at the very least. A lot of times we'll push up, pull back, and then do a bigger push. So I was kind of anticipating that. Unfortunately, was incorrect about that. And then we started dumping, and I was a little late, and so I was waiting for this area to pull back to, and ended up getting a nice trade on this account, and then a bigger trade on another account where I was taking a higher position size. So ended up making up for this loss at the beginning, but rough start. Now it looks like we rejected off of these large sell orders. And, obviously this breakdown of this consolidation area didn't result in a huge move. It resulted in a bounce move. So we manipulated these lows. We could be going for these highs now. And it looks like everybody's kind of getting out of the way right now. Everybody that's short is at risk right now because this move is bouncing. This trade would have been a nice reversal trade if you were prepared for it. And we still have these levels here, right, that we marked out. And these levels here were passive sellers. So if we start seeing these people get obliterated, we might be looking for a short squeeze moving up. Oh, hang on one sec. That was my dog. It's all good. Him and Mars are wrestling right now. All right, so, we're pushing above this 24,500 level. Let's see what kind of reaction we get over here. Potential floor right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but, we got our point of control at the bottom of this candle, or seemingly the bottom for now. It's a little weaker, but we're looking for evidence around here for passive buyers supporting this level. And then you see we got aggressive buyers coming out of this level, and nothing really up top here indicating that we have, passive sellers trying to stop price from moving up. This level continues to get built on. So again, us moving up above 24,500 and seeing this aggressive buying, that might be enough evidence for you to think this is a reversal. We had a consolidation here, a breakdown. Looks like it was a manipulation, rejection from these these aggressive sellers. Price did not continue moving down. It actually rejected from it. And now here we are at these levels we were watching where sellers are supposed to be defending this level. They are capitulating, and we have continued buying strength out of this level. So you might be considering a long out of this area and thinking we could be reversing potentially up to one of these other key levels. This is the next level I would be watching for defense, this 24,600, which is probably the biggest level to be watching for defense. We have VWAP right here, so that could be a potential issue as well. But we do have some evidence coming out of this consolidation, getting a rejection here, having aggressive buyers here, that this could be a potential reversal. That's kind of how I would be looking at it. And I'll probably be open to taking some positions here shortly. I did want to just kind of analyze what happens after this consolidation. Could be a fake breakdown. And kind of, as I mentioned, could be looking for a potential long out of this area, but would want to see probably this area fail to defend. But there might be some good opportunities for scalps. Let's see what happens when, we have our first attempt at a pullback right here. Probably this candle and the next candle. Might have a pullback attempt. Do I use the upper and lower bands for VWAP? Yes, I do. There's usually a lot of activity on the second standard deviation, which is this one right here. It's usually a lot of action. That 10 a.m. open level I was telling you about working out very well for entries. Let's see. 10 a.m. This is your open right here. Ten oh five open was right here. That's the level you were using, wasn't it? 24.522. This is the 10 a.m. open. So if you're looking at that 24.522 level, that's the 10.05 open on my chart, unless we're seeing something different. Right here. This is the 10 a.m. candle. This is the open. It's 24.575. The open of the 10.05 candle. 24.522. All right, we got some sellers stepping in. Looks like this is the pullback. Let's see what happens at these levels. No passive buying coming in just yet. Oh, all good, brother. Yeah, better safe while you're driving, man. We got a reaction out of this area, and the reaction at 24,500 was, it was aggressive buying that happened. So it looks like we made, there was an attempt from a passive seller right here to hold price down below 24,500, but you can see it aggressively got pushed up through, and aggressive buying continued up here. So right now, this is looking like it could have been a pullback to continue to go long. But let's see. We're still hovering down here. Let's see if we make another attempt to go lower. The government coming back is the beginning of your prime, as like a demarcation of you dominating. We continue to be negative on Delta. We're at 1117, so let's see. When did the 1030? So here, this is the low. We broke the low. This would be an anomaly of a, from a probability standpoint, if we end up going up and touching this high here. This is the opening candle. No, this is the opening candle. This is the 935 candle. So if we end up going and touching this high that was created in this initial balance range, this would be a 20% occurrence where we Well, sorry, it would be closer to, I think, a 25% chance of breaking this low, then reversing and coming up and touching this high. So probability says that we continue to go lower, or at the very least stay below this high. That's what probability says. JP Morgan focus less on you. Hell yeah, dude. All of us, we all need to be hidden from our couple micro lot trades and our prop firm trades that are off the books. What we got to be careful about is them tapping into our stream where everybody's talking about their positions and where they're placing them, because they're gonna try and prevent that from happening. All right, candle flip right there, pretty significant, I would say, off of this sell order. We're now rejecting off of this sell order. So if you are, the type that likes to take reversal trades, you might be looking, as this is a potential confirmation that we could be going for higher prices, at the very least retesting this 24,600. And, that's no small trade. That would be a great trade, getting in around 24,500, taking it up to 24,600. That's 100 points off of this sort of initiation candle, and then retest or pull back down here to 24,500. Okay. Well, I'm glad you added the wink wink, because it looks like we got some bullish order flow. Dude, the market can't shake you out if you're always in a position. Play hard to get. If you want to win, you have to start thinking inside the box. All right, so now, what I'm doing is trying to put myself in the position of everybody that, is in this consolidation short, like I was, who was holding it for a longer move. Now they're looking like they're in trouble. We have a windshield wiper formation starting, where we have, solid green coming up, an attempt at a pullback that was rejected. So we're seeing quite a bit of strength. Yeah. How do I know? I know you don't like candle formations, but that's pretty much the only one I honestly pay attention to. I don't care about pretty much anything else. But when I see, especially when paired with, things like a rejection down here off of a pullback, strong order flow, having candle formations that essentially can indicate strength or weakness when paired with order flow like this, and a high probability of playing out, is something I'll pay attention to. Hell yeah, dude. Dude, just like a daily horoscope. If we can pair what's happening in the stars with trading, that's daily content. You know what I mean? Just like waking up and looking at your horoscope. you wake up and you look at the trading horoscope. But you have to say ambiguous shit. You have to say ambiguous stuff like, you know, we've got, we got a half moon forming for tonight, which means price action is going to be fruitful tomorrow. Exactly. All right, we're getting a retest of this area up here, 24,600. It looks like we're gonna retest. If you can see over here, we've had a couple. This is a small breakout area. This area has, for the time being, been a speed bump for this sort of positive momentum. Retesting this area here, we got some aggressive buying happening. Looking like we're going to push through this area, at least for the time being. So I think the only trade on the table for me right now is a short here at VWAP, which is 24,660. So maybe a potential short up here. Hell yeah, T-Drov. We need to take that as an indicator. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Can you guys hear that stuttering that's happening? All right, we're coming up here to VWAP right now. the way this is looking, I mean, we got a lot of strength coming into this area. It might just be a pullback. If we come up here, hit some resistance, we might just be looking at a pullback. And look at this follow through, Adam, on this windshield wiper setup. Know what I'm saying, dude? Planetary alignment entering, you're basically gambling, dude. 100%. You need the planetary confluence. We got a little bit of a ceiling forming over here. Let's see, 24,650. We got a passive seller up here. They got blasted through. We might have a floor now. I mean, look, this is an amazing reversal move if you're taking that long. Like, you know, again, I'm seeing like resistance up here. I'm seeing some passive selling up here, but based on the strength of this move, like, I'm not seeing it get weaker up here, at least yet. So I'm waiting. I was looking for a trade at VWAP, but the way it's hitting this level is making me say, okay, I probably need some more information. I need to see something else out of price action before I just enter. Because it could be blasting through this level, and you know, we're not sure yet. 24,650, we're under it again. So let's see how this holds up here. 24,650. Also, I wouldn't want to enter on this candle. Let's wait for the next candle. And again, I might have to consider that if I enter on this short, it could just be a quick pullback. Let's see how this candle reacts up here. 24,650. A little bit of a ceiling. We could be blasting through. Well, Adam, yes, it did bounce off a level, and a lot of times when you see this pattern forming, it's coinciding with a level like this, right? So it pulls back and it has support by buyers. So if you're looking at this without anything on the screen and you start to see this form, to me, when I've back tested this pattern, you can anticipate a leg. You know, this is first leg, this is second leg. You can anticipate this second leg, and you get nice follow through when you get a rejection like this. But if it gets stopped up here because of a level, for instance, it can also be a good reversal trade. So totally understand what you're saying about, you know, patterns in themselves are not significant, but patterns when aligned with levels can be significant. And this is one that tends to have a fulcrum on a level, typically. It's essentially like it's a breakout pattern. Okay, so let's see, is this candle getting rejected? Is it getting supported? We got a lot of aggressive buying happening up here. Follow through, not looking top heavy yet. Looking more like a breakout than nothing. And yeah, I'm with you on that, Adam. I mean, even in this pattern, I mean, you can see that this is a key level, even if this value area low wasn't here, because I drew out these, you know, where the sellers were active, and you can see that we had a nice reaction off of that. Still not seeing anything super special if I'm looking for a short. I wish I could have this whole footprint chart like maximized. Aggressive selling here. Aggressive selling here. I don't know. Going against this move right now is kind of makes my penis invert a little bit. So I don't know if I want to do that or if I want to wait down here for a buy instead of trying to take this short. Similar to this, but a little bit lower. Maybe I'm looking for it here. But if it's got the strength, it might just quickly pull back and then start moving up. All right, cool, T-Draw. Make what do what? Oh, yeah, it makes my wee wee invert. Trying to think about trying to go short on this without proper evidence, because this is strong. Right here, lots of buyers. So instead of trying to short this, I think I might be more interested in waiting down here for a potential buy, a dip buy. I'm cool with this copyright free beat. It's a little funky. Let's check out the higher time frame. See what's going on here. So yesterday when we were looking at the higher time frame, we were thinking it looks hella bearish. Weekly still looks hella bearish. So does the daily. Let's go to the 4 hour. Yeah, we're in a, I would say like a little, kind of a tough area because we've had all this bearish price action. We come down to these levels where you should be seeing, well, where we've historically had support here, right? So are we shifting? Are we shifting from, when everything is looking really bearish? Now are we bouncing off this level, or should we anticipate that this is a pullback to continue short? Swept this low. We're about at the midpoint of the previous 4-hour range. So I guess around 24,700-ish. We want to just be analyzing and seeing if all higher time frame order flow is looking short. Should we be looking for a short if we get the proper evidence up here? And right now we're on a short-term tear ripping higher. So we've got a couple of conflicting things right now. Short-term is conflicting with long-term. But does this area warrant a bounce of this nature to actually reverse the whole market? I don't know. That bounce we had just now was not, I would say, that significant. Like it is a strong move, but if you look at what happened at the lows, like if we're actually reversing this whole down move, I mean, look what's happened previously. This obviously is a huge move. This obviously is a huge move. These bounces, I don't know, we'd really have to dig in to see. But if we're coming down from all-time highs, kind of exploring these lower prices, I would maybe anticipate a bigger move down if we are really reversing all of this price action down. So that being said, the higher time frame might call for looking for a short. All right, let's watch what's happening here. We're digging into this gap. Do we continue to? So looks like we had a potential rejection up here. Wasn't super clear over here, but potential rejection over here. Let's see what price is looking like. Do we continue to push lower? Let's see if this candle remains green, or if we flip and we start getting consecutive red candles in a row. Grow a pair and pull the trigger. I'll let you do that, Max. And I already had a pair, and I've pulled the trigger. And I'm up 2,300. So maybe you need to grow a pair. Maybe you need to pull the trigger. Maybe you're wanting me to live out your fantasies. I'll pull the trigger when it looks right. Doesn't look right yet. Your work computer comes in tomorrow. Have it shipped to your parents' house. Just make sure nothing happens to it. Nice. That's cool. You get a computer. Yeah, I mean this looks about right, like 24/700 ish for the area that we could see a potential rejection to start moving down lower. Yeah, I'm digging this music. Maybe I need to look up copyright free Motown. Let's try that. Oh shit, man. Yeah, selling company property. Hell yeah. That would be a sick thing to do as a new employee. This doesn't sound like Motown. Copyright free. Let's do. It's the perpetual search for copyright free music always. Oh, this looks like we might continue pushing up here. I don't know. This point of control might be another area I want to watch, but this area is not looking super strong. Not making a case for shorts, at least. A little bit of a aggressive buy spread out up here on the top side of this candle. We are below these levels now. Let's see if we start seeing a change. So again, shorter time frame. This is a strong move up. Higher time frame. This is a key level right now, the midpoint of the previous 4 hour candle, where we could see some rejection to start moving lower. And the higher time frame definitely has let's say intermediate time frame has a short bias, while the higher time frame on the indices is pretty much always bullish. But moving away from all-time highs, this is kind of a, ideal scenario, I would say, for the amount we've pulled back to be looking short. Not this just in particular, but if we're talking about higher time frame, we get some nice explosive moves to the short side occasionally, and this seems to be one of those occasions. All right. not super significant, but you can see we're below all these aggressive buy orders. Might be time to try a short. So I'm gonna go ahead and try a short here. Let's see if we can break through this gap here and potentially go for some of these lower key levels. And so what I'm watching for is, are we going short just to pull back to continue going long, or are we going to start seeing a shift in the way price is moving? I'm taking a stab at it with 1 micro. I'll add potentially if we get up here to VWAP, and I'll try and get a little bit more size on it if the trade starts working out as well. Wow, look at that. So that sort of explosion up, not getting a big read on it over here, at least. But we are above VWAP now. I'm not trying to add to that just yet. If we come back below VWAP and it looks like we're pushing lower, I'll probably add to it. But I don't want to add to something that is kind of exploding away from my price, at least with the context that that could be a possibility if we're going to continue moving up. Back below VWAP. Let's see if we get any sort of indication that we're going to stay below it. I might be watching this 24,655 level. All right, I like that. I went ahead and added right there. I like that we pushed up off the open of this candle and then immediately moved down. Let's see if this keeps, when we go positive, it continues to flip negative. Went ahead and added another one there, so I got 3 on because I liked what was happening. Let's see if that continues. Would like to see this stay below this VWAP right here. If we push above it, I might stop out early. Pushing above it. Looking like we're gaining some momentum. We might have a consolidation here. Unfortunately, that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for a sharp move down. That looks like it could have just been a quick pullback. Let's see. I'd like to see this come break these lows. Also, looking at these wicks down on the downside, I want to see this push further than like what this has been doing, which is that. I want to see this close under this gap. If we start it looking like we're bouncing down here, if we do get down here, then I will likely start de-risking. So I'm going to keep a close eye. Around 24,615-ish is where I want to really pay close attention to what's happening with the price. $24,640 looks like a ceiling here, potential ceiling. At least we got passive sellers showing up here. Aggressive selling, not so far, not looking great down here. But I might be in just a tad bit early. We might have, if this is rounding out and we're gonna go lower, it might take a little bit. The way it's moving right now is what I'm afraid of is that it's going to come down here, potentially break this low, dig into this gap a little deeper, and then shoot up. That's kind of what I'm concerned about. Just the way it's kind of bouncing off these lows, comes down and then kind of pushes up aggressively. A little bit concerned about this being the extent of the pullback and then continuing to kind of explode up. I guess what I would like to see is a progression in order flow to the sell side. As time passes, as time goes on, I want to see more and more of the aggressive sellers, more and more people that are long getting out of their long positions, and less of the aggressive buying happening. So if you look at this big move, you have people that are buying above VWAP here, buying in this gap down here potentially. And I want to see that start to sort of deteriorate and lose to selling. And right now it looks like it could be the start of that, but doesn't look strong enough to warrant the expectation that this is going lower, 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 lower. Right now, what it looks like to me is that it's like just enough to expect that this is whatever this short move is, could be just a potential pullback, and then we continue going long right now. But I'm waiting and gathering information. Looks like this could move against me and start squeezing up. So probably this candle, I might just start getting out of this position because I don't like what it's doing. It looks like it's building up momentum versus losing it. Yeah, start taking some off. I can always add back if it starts moving in my direction, but right now it's looking like it's kind of coiling up for a squeeze. And if that's the case, I get out of this trade and wait for this level to get hit. Looks like we had a little ceiling building over here at 24,680. Not super significant though. Again, like that looks like a weak high up here. So continuing to watch, I de-risked, and if we start pushing lower, then I can add back into it. But right now, it's kind of looking like we still want to go to these higher prices. I'm not looking super convincing for this short. And again, if we are just rolling over, it might take some time, unfortunately. Yeah, so might just get out of this trade again since we've revisited these prices down here and really didn't get any follow through whatsoever. It just kind of bounced right back up. So I think I'll go ahead and close this trade. I don't like the way it's playing out. That was, a combination of order flow and just expectation and time. As we were starting to see this get weak, I wanted to see it get weak and then speed up, not slow down on getting weak and then speed up, getting aggressive to the buy side. So little looks like it was either early entry or just wrong, that, this could be a pivot point. We might just continue going higher from here. And the next level I'm watching is this value area high. Oh, dude, you finally got some good moves up for Bitcoin? Hell yeah. With your, you turned your $12 into 20. Let's check out what ES is doing. Same thing, consolidating right here. This looks like it could just be kind of a bull flag. Looks like gold is recovering too. Let's pull up Bitcoin and see what kind of moves you're making. Oops. Pretty nice move here. Adam, check out this double bottom, dude. Man. Yeah, the one thing crypto has had here lately, especially with the meme coins and stuff, is volatility. That's what we like. I mean, you can see here, like if you're looking at this kind of from a trending perspective, we probably have, my guess would be, okay, if we put on like a 200 EMA on a long-term or higher time frame, we're probably getting bounces off the 200 EMA, either off the daily or the weekly. Let me try putting on a EMA. Let's change this to 200. A little bit shallow, maybe on the weekly. Yeah, not even. We're below the 200 EMA. 250 might be a little more appropriate. So we're well below where these are relative to this EMA. I don't know. Did you go long on that Bitcoin? Yeah, good up moves. Yeah, I'm looking at this thinking, I don't know if we're done yet. But maybe we get a pullback up to these prices. Okay, back to NQ. What are we doing here? We're still consolidating. Oh, okay, you're kidding. You didn't take a bounce move on your $12 position on Bitcoin? Yeah, I don't know if you heard those rumors about the U.S. colluding to dump Bitcoin so that they can accumulate. for the national debt. Yeah, so this to me is looking like we're gonna pop this level, but maybe similar to this, maybe we can get a move back down after we pop this level. We'll see. Hey, I'm actually I'm gonna restart my platform real quick. I'll be right back. I'm getting some like stuttering on my end, so I'm gonna restart my streaming platform. Should reconnect here in just a second. I'll be right back.